Our boys, we got Clef the God versus Showtime, and this is a win and get in game for the Madrid MCS event. And Clef is doing some things on defense, a little different. Going to talk about it. And I think something that if you think about how this game is evolving, how the game is changing over time, this is, I think, a very valuable breakdown because what you're going to notice here is that Clef's going to be doing some different things on the defensive side of the ball. Showtime, obviously, one of the best young players in the world. He made a live event last year, and I think he's been very close this year so far. And you're also noticing here from Clef's perspective that he is going to be in dollar for this game. Now, as you see right here, it kind of sets up the matchup here. And Showtime does his typical start off with a bunch run, but let's talk a little bit about what Clef is doing on the defensive side of the ball. So I think that this poses a really interesting, kind of component for the way defense is changing. Also, I'll leave links to all these guys' stuff in the description below if you guys want to check out what they do. But anywho, what we're going to get here is we're going to get this cover 4 quarters. So he's in a match-based defensive play. He's looping through the B gap here, and then he's got pressure. Now, what Clef does do is he does have two pretty good pass rushing defensive ends with ability stacks on them. But outside of that, right, it's basically a match bend but don't break defense here. And as you see, does a pretty nice job, right? Does a pretty nice job of being able to play good coverage and get good enough pressure, right? This pressure is not game breaking. This pressure is not, unbelievably effective, but this pressure is effective. As a send four, it's going to do a good job, and it's going to give you enough pressure to get them essentially on somewhat of a timer throughout this game. Also, notice that he's consistently looping left to right, and you're going to see here little flood combination, and that's what I think honestly match coverage kind of struggles to defend, combinations like that, real crossing route heavy combos. And Showtime is in this Atlanta bunch, I believe. Been in this for forever, running wide curl every play, and then he's going to run base as well. It's interesting to me that he's running base left to right, even though he has a right-handed quarterback. Very interesting. Normally, you'll see them run the ball with the running back on the same side as the quarterback's throwing hand because that gives a better handoff. Here, Clef and you see, Clef pretty much consistently going to send four. Now, you might ask, why is Clef in dollar? It's not really that great of a blitz. He's in dollar primarily because of the coverage that dollar provides, as well as the switch stick capabilities that he has. Dollar is been and probably will always be one of the best, if not the best, switch stick based defense. So Clef is trying to optimize for switch stick. He's also just trying to contain here, keep the quarterback in the pocket. There you see a good rush from the defensive tackle, and he gets that nice pocket formation. What's nice about that specific type of pocket formation is that pocket formation does a really, really good job in terms of a game where scrambling is really, really overpowered, right? It's insane to me what EA has done with the scrambling in this game, how easy it is to juke out defenders from a quarterback position. And so one of the main goals from Clef defensively here, and take a look at what happens. He does give up a touchdown here, but I want you to look at this pass rush he's going to get here. If you take a look here at the left side, watch this nose tackle. You're going to see right there. See how he gets that little slip right there? That is due to this crossfire blitz. And so that crossfire, as you see here, it's hard to scramble out of this with the way that pressure is going to kind of form a pocket. But Showtime ultimately does a good job, and he is able to get on the board there. So that's going to bring up Clef's first drive, first possession. Offensively, we'll see what Clef's able to do. He's going to take a look at the tape back on the clip. Does have those safeties backed off, in my opinion, just too much. You just can't do that in this game. And I think it was because he was wanting to try to run cover two. But anywho. So that's going to bring up Clef the God on offense. Now, Clef has actually shifted a little bit. Last couple of years, he's kind of been a tried and true bunch player. But in this year's game, he's still a bunch player, but running a lot more bunch X nasty. And so we'll see how he ends up deciding to do this. Going to go on conservative. Going to have and this is what I was talking about before in some of my breakdowns. I think the better pass protection for the most part is empty pass protection, especially against the defense Showtime's going to put on the field, which is this 6-1 defense. Now, some cool stuff's been discovered about 6-1 actually, and the Showblitz linebacker feature to keep these linebackers in the gaps. So we'll see, kind of how that evolves the meta. But anywho, one of the best routes in the game, this running back slide route out of Bunch X Nasty. And then Clef going to be kind of running a rollout play, really. 2 slot fades, good pressure there from Showtime. And, that running back slide route, just such a powerful route in this game. It's one of the main reasons why Bunch X Nasty is so good. It's because the way that slide route works, it really just opens up a lot of the field. And good combo there from Clef, little smash return combination. And he's going to be able to get a first down, move the ball up to the 41 here. So Showtime's defense here, as you see, he's spreading his defensive line. It's a little different than the way that I would run this defense. But the way that he runs it here, he's going to get these really unique angles on the defensive tackles, and kind of similar concept to that dollar blitz, right? Trying to form that middle pocket right there and kind of get that pressure on the guards. It's not going to necessarily always come free. Rarely will it come free. But the way that they kind of slant inside when he spreads them, I think he likes that you see out there that kind of gets a little bit of a disengage that time. And it's just enough to kind of, again, make you feel the pressure. This is not a great blitzing game. This is probably one of the worst blitzing games we've ever seen. And so because of that, if you could just get this kind of passive pressure, take advantage of how good these sheds are, you're going to be in a pretty good spot. One of the other things I wanted to point out here is watch Showtime's defensive tackles. Pretty much every single play, you see they're getting this disengage, this glitchy deal. So he is getting it really consistently. And it always, kind of evolves this way where as you get faster defensive linemen, they do a better job. Now, here's the thing. The one issue to me, and we'll see how this kind of shapes up. This has been something with 6-1. There you see Clef just ag him. This has been something with Clef or with 6-1. You see how you get this alignment here. These safeties are kind of moving over here like this. And then you also notice that Showtime pinches. He's showing a blitz look. When they pinch the D-line here, this is better for blitzing. So what I would like to do is, try to run everything from the same front so that I'm not telling you what I'm doing. You see here at the last second, he spreads them and sends 4. But that's another little thing to kind of watch as this game goes on is, is he overly telling Clef pre-snap, I'm blitzing you or I'm playing coverage based off the position of his defensive line. If the defensive line is pinched, then that probably means he's going to be sitting pressure. If the defensive line is spread, then that probably means he's going to be playing coverage. So those are some little factors that you got to kind of take into consideration whenever you're watching a high-level game like this. But both guys pretty effortlessly score, honestly. Pretty effortlessly score, as is the case in this game, really. Clef is basically playing, both of these guys are playing for 1, maybe 2 stops. And that's just because this game is, probably the most offensive Madden we've ever seen, even though it has all these features. There you see a nice run there from Showtime with the shape shifter. And it's just going to be a free touchdown. And this is Showtime's deal. What's interesting, though, is, I've watched Showtime play quite a bit over the last couple of years. I'm pretty sure every single time on the first play of the game, he's going to run base. Every single time. And so Clef's trying to sell out, not able to make the play. And it's just a free touchdown for Showtime. It's such an effortless thing, in the sense of like he doesn't even have to think. He just hands the ball off. He's able to make a guy miss and then get a good cut, get good blocking, and he's going to get a nice result out of it. So easy touchdown for Showtime. Clef can't afford to have that. That's, you never want to give up a touchdown that way. You got to make them work. And one of the weaknesses of Dollar, obviously, not the best run defense in the world. Not a terrible run defense, but certainly not the best run defense in the world. And so we'll see what Clef's able to do on his second drive. Clef, one of the unique things, he runs a lot more mesh spot than the average person. And the way he runs it is really interesting. I'll actually show you the combo here. So he runs mesh spot a lot different. Or he just runs more mesh spot, right? So what he's going to do is he's going to have a streak. He's going to have a drag. He's going to have a streak. He's going to have a return route. And then he's going to have this running back route layer over here. Kind of an interesting way to run the play. But effectively, why do this? One of the most common adjustments in this game against Bunch would be to man up this guy and to play a hard flat here. because you're playing for spacing switch, which is the best, I mean, probably the best play in the formation. So because of that, you see Clef counter that by going, I'm going to fake the flat, go up the wheel. And then let's say this guy goes, then I have this thing kind of touching that flat area of the field. So anyway, just a little bit into, the play design here. Good switch stick. Actually had a touchdown, but roll out, not able to get it done. And that's going to bring up a second down and 10. So as you see, Showtime keeping those defensive linemen spread. He's getting great pressure, honestly. He's getting the best pressure you could want from 6-1 right now. With the way this disengage is coming in, honestly, you got to be really, really happy with how that's going. And you probably should just keep sending the disengage. He's getting great pressure. Clef doesn't have a ton of time in the pocket. And then here you see the first time all game, Showtime blitzes, and he actually gives up a dot. I want to really highlight this, though. You'll see here, he tries to blitz from the spread look, and I think did he send 6? He might have only sent 5 here, but let's just take note of this. He does decide to blitz from a spread out look, so it looks the same, and he sends 5, and he's able to get the pressure. So nice pressure from Showtime there. And that's going to bring up a first down and 10 on the 48. As you see here, Clef is going to change his pass protection to base. Now, the reason he changes his pass protection to base, in my opinion, is this will do a little better job against the 6-1 disengage. But you see here, very next play, look what Showtime does. He sends 5 again. And this send 5 does a good job, gets a nice shed. That's really what makes 6-1 great, honestly, is the ability to, even when you get blocked, to get a quick shed and get the pressure, because you have, good pass rushers on the field. Good rollout there from Clef. Going to have R1 open. The fact that you can make that throw on the rope is so amazing. However, shout out to small pass lead, overthrowing yet another touchdown. At least I would assume that Clef is playing on small. Most pro players at this point are all playing on small. And, kind of gives a little give, a little take, honestly. So that's going to bring up a 4th down and 1, and the ball is going to be on the 43-yard line. We'll see what Clef's able to do here. 4th down, biggest down of the game, and we'll see, what he's able to do. Going to go to motion cross post, believe, and he runs a lot of clear out streaks. I would assume that's for cover 0. Yep, right there, touchdown. And Showtime overcommitted, sold out, and you kind of tells you that, right? When you move this safety here, that kind of tells you probably cover 0. And so Showtime here is going to send everybody. His line is not spread anymore. As you see here, he kind of leaves it on default, and he's really just trying to get this pressure. So what Clef does is he says, I want to untarget this guy, so I'm going to let him come in free. Smart by Showtime, he runs the D-pad switch. So he blitzes his user, and then he D-pad switches here. Only problem is, when he D-pad switches here, as you see, it takes a second to register, and because of that, that's going to leave this guy wide open for a touchdown over the top. Great play by Clef the God on a 4th and 1, knowing Showtime was going to go to cover 0, having those deep threats on the field, because Showtime has to switch stick probably to that right side defender, and because of that, it's just can't cover there. You can't make that play. It's almost an impossible play to cover that. Because of the delay when you do switch stick. 14-14, we'll see here, really just kind of a back and forth battle. It's kind of standard how the game goes at this point in the year. Just very offensive game, very difficult to get a stop. Really when you're playing a top level player, you're going to pretty much trade scores. What's really interesting is Clef is keeping these safeties backed off. Another big run there from Showtime. He's keeping these safeties fairly backed off here, about 15. There you see him tap them to bring them down a little bit. That will help in the run support. And there's decent-ish pressure, but a nice playmaker. Another big factor, right? These quarterback playmakers, master tacks, are just unbelievable how good playmaker is this year. When offense is already just roided. See how Clef is manually kind of bringing these safeties into the box, trying to help a little bit with the run support. And again, just trying to play bend but don't break. Cover 4 hard flat here from Clef. and he switch sticks to drag. There should have been a pick. So, again, the whole strategy here is cover four. I'm going to run cover four, and then I'm going to switch stick and make reads. So you see here, he switches, he reads this drag, which Showtime hit last time. He's going to bite down on the drag with the switch, and ball goes right through his hands. Not even able to touch it. Shout out to EA. All right, so cover four quarters again here. Hard flats, leaving those safeties backed up, trying to kind of bait a Y curl there. He gets the pick on the next play. And, this is just a bad decision by Showtime. I don't know what else you could really say here. He runs the exact same basic play. There's, double covered and just messes up, makes a mistake. Clef capitalizes on it. A lot of times defensively, one of the things that Clef's strategy does, which I do like how he plays, because one of the main things he's going to do is he's going to switch stick a lot, but he's also playing, if you think about it, a cover four shell, relatively conservative, and essentially just trying to make you make a mistake, right? Allow you the space, allow you the slack to make a mistake without getting too aggressive early in the game. Showtime makes that mistake. And in a game like this, one stop is really all you need there. Showtime almost makes a crazy play on this corner route, but not able to make it all the way. And Clef is able to complete it and continue to move the ball up the field. It's going to be the end of the first quarter, 14-14 tie ball game, but Clef threatening in the red zone here. 3-yard line for Clef, and he is going to get into some red zone stuff. Now, I believe he is in jets. Most people are at this point. So, a lot of quarterback runs here. There it is. Quarterback run. Easy touchdown for Clef. Quarterback power out of that wing slot. And now you got a 21-14 ball game. And, I believe that, I'm trying to remember, I want to say Clef gets the ball at half. Pretty sure he does. Again, keeping these safeties backed up. Couple reasons for that. Depends on if he's doing it on his safety depths, but I believe you can man them up when you keep them back up versus when you put them on close and pinch. You can't crossman your safety. So he has like a threat of a crossman, but he's really not using that threat at all. And he's literally just sitting in this cover four. It's been cover four 80 to 90% of this game for Clef. Kind of mixing in between cover four quarters, cover four hard flat a little bit. But he likes this cover four and nice wheel route. Gets out of there. Showtime runs Y curl so much run. It's just this play, and he just spams Y curl. And again, if Y curl has this like kind of seam streak. It's got this really unique wheel route here, and then it has a drag route on the back side of this. There you see. Now this is the crazy thing that's still in the game, but it is still in the game. Shout out to the patch. But yeah, Clef just kind of manually walking these safeties down. Really interesting. Haven't seen that since Madden 23 really, but you see the match is matching. But see, here's the thing. So like this is actually, you actually get a really good highlight here, a glimpse of match. So Showtime guesses right here. He runs verticals. And he has this wheel, but he has this crosser. So take a look here, though. This quarter, it matches this crosser extremely well. That's dead. That's dead. This is pretty much dead with the quarter flat. And so you see Clef trying to switch here and take this away. But the way that it ends up kind of going, he just gets kind of out of position. And that's how easy it is to mess up in this game. And yeah, Showtime gets a touchdown on a play that he was really not, didn't have much, but was able to score on that. But Clef definitely running a lot of like cover four hard flat and then cover four quarters. Cover four hard flat and then cover four quarters. He's really running in between those two coverages. Cover four quarters really being the base one, but when he wants to kind of play a little bit more hard flat coverage, take away the underneath drags and stuff, then you see that coverage come out. So kind of an end of half scenario here. If you're Clef, 4 minutes left in the first half, you have the opportunity here if you want to attempt to clock this out. It would be very strategic to clock this out because I believe that he does get the ball at halftime. And so you could limit the game, limit possessions. He loves this play right here. This is one of his main plays. Really interesting that this is such a popular play. So it's a basic flood, honestly. Nothing too fancy about it, really. You got a streak, you got a slot fade, you have a stock tight end corner like that, and then you have this little slide route here, and then on the back side is this a little return route late. So you have clearing out, and then you have a high read, a low read, and then a backside return route that you can playmaker into this space right here. So you see here, right? Showtime switches here. The running back, he ended up blocking him, but the running back would be open on this. And then, pretty good defense there from Showtime, able to take that away. Second down to 10, cover 0 look from Showtime. Safety kind of walked over there. And this is small pass lead. As you see, this is why you should not put cover 0 on your field ever in this game. As you see right here, right, a simple, streak would be an open, but Showtime switched it. But you see how Clef can just pass lead this. This is just a small pass lead. It's just he has inside position, so he pass leads him to the inside, and it's one-on-one, and it's incredibly difficult to stop that in this game, if not impossible, because you can't really click on and do anything. You have to stop it before it starts, and that's why I don't think cover 0 is runnable with this small pass lead stuff. I mean, maybe as a situational heavy blitz situation, but Showtime played, he dropped 7 in coverage, no pressure. Just very easy, in my opinion, for Clef right there to be able to take the top off the defense. So this now gives Showtime the opportunity to clock here. It honestly would be really good for Showtime to clock, and he runs base every play anyway, so every play on the first play anyway. I'm surprised that he didn't. I guess he doesn't because he wants to be on a hash. But he runs base a lot on the first play drive. Surprised he didn't right there. Don't know if he's trying to score fast because he's losing the game and trying to maximize possessions, but it doesn't really save. Him scoring fast here doesn't really help him. But he's going to throw a nuke. Oh my gosh. This is a crazy throw. Do you think he's throwing this and this guy reacts to the ball? Can't really tell. Maybe he freeforms this and this just goes small pass lead again. It looks like he threw him and just, that's a crazy play. That is a crazy, crazy play. 28-28. On that note, if you're looking to get better at Madden, join our school community. It's $10, get you access to all of our offensive and defensive ebooks, both for Madden and college football. So if you're looking to take your game to the next level, win more games, the knowledge, the tools, the tricks, everything you need to win more games is in our school community. That will be linked in the top of the description down below. And again, it's only $10, get you access to everything that I know about Madden and college football. So if you want to sign up, that link is in the description below. All right, 1st and 10 for Clef the God. And he's got the running back slide route out there, 2 seam streaks. It's going to be smash return. And see, I guess this is the thinking here. This actually makes a lot of sense. So, again, quarterback playmaker is really, really good, right? So what Clef does is he has these 2 streaks here, which will clear out both of these inside quarters typically. So as you see on this play, what he does, you see this turn, he then left trigger, flick the right joystick up, playmakers this guy into this open space. And so now it's essentially turns a drag into a same area that an in route would hit. So really, really nice. And, this is kind of your standard Madden 26 game. I mean, it's 28-28 with 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. Very extremely offensive. You watch 2 competitive Madden players play against each other. I watched Abram and Dez play in this tournament, and I believe in the first half it was 42-35. 42-35. I mean, just an insane offensive output. I think the game ended 66-63 Abram. But it's just amazing to me how, there's just, just what can you do on defense? And there you see Clef, another crazy play. And he's able to score. A playmaker, the running back up, got out of the pocket. The rollout's crazy. The playmaker's crazy. The zones don't do anything. Man coverage, you could pass lead a streak. Match coverage, I guess, is your only hope, but it's got glitches, and that's why I guess you see, Clef the God running match. Now he does have his hooks zone drop, so that typically does negate the match coverage. So little run there from the shape shifter, and there you see first place base. And now I think you got to think Showtime's going to clock this out here. Make this the last play before the 2-minute warning. Now you could pass here because it's going to be 2-minute warning no matter what. He's going to run. Clef kind of read that, sold out for the run there, ended up being able to hold it to a 1-yard gain. That's going to get us to the 2. Whoops, back up here. Yeah, so Showtime here very clearly, looking to clock this out. There's that B gap pressure, there's the contain. And this right here, really great example. So this is why you run dollar, in my opinion. A couple reasons. So what you see here is you get your pressure, and he contains on this edge, and he gets this B gap loop. Well, Showtime does the glitchy juke scramble trying to get out of this, and notice he can't really get away from this, and then he runs himself into the contain. So in a way, you've seen this kind of do what you want it to do defensively. Your whole identity defensively this year has got to be based around keeping this quarterback in the pocket. It's so important. Show you one other thing that's kind of unique that Clef does here. Take a look at what he does here. Why would you send this pressure? Is it because you're taking a full, assuming they're sliding right, so you send that, maybe you get a little pressure there? I'm always, just curious why you would send that one. There's Showtime, throws right at Clef's user, but able to get the ball over the top of him. Ball on the 30-yard line. Cover 4 quarters. Run defense. Yeah, it's been cover 4 a lot this game. A lot. So he's going to flip his play. And there's that big gap. I mean, he's getting that pressure. That pressure's coming. That pressure is coming in. The problem is these safeties are so far off the ball. Why does he want them to be off the ball like that? Maybe they play. Maybe I don't know. I don't know why you would. Why would you want? He hasn't manned up a safety a single time in the game. He's got 2 contains here, and able to do a good job kind of handling that run. Now that puts Showtime in an interesting position. Now Clef has used all his timeouts, unfortunately for him. Little change up blitz here off the left side. Y curl, easy touchdown. And this is the threat of Y curl. This is the threat of Y curl. Take a look here. You get this flat that kind of pulls this guy out. And then you see this little cut right here. You can throw this in the seam area between zones. It's why Showtime runs this play so much. Great little throw and catch. Able to get a big touchdown at the end of half. And now Clef has 23 seconds. He leaves Clef with, 23 seconds, but he ties the ball game up. Couldn't really play that any better if you're Showtime as far as getting the ball downfield, taking all Clef's timeouts, able to finish the drive with a touchdown as opposed to a field goal. And now you kind of put Clef in a tough position, right? Believe that Clef does get the ball out of halftime, and but the drawback is kind of the way that he scored too fast, and now he's only got 20 seconds, and it's how significant these in a half scenarios are. Going to be cover 4 from Showtime, I would assume here. Honestly, 6-1's doing a pretty good job of keeping the quarterback in the pocket for the most part. Great throw there. Take a look at this real quick. This is how good playmakers. Watch how early. Just playmaker straight up, boom. And that playmaker is super powerful. See if he fakes, if he See what he's able to do here. If can he get the spike off? 14 seconds. Should be able to. Yeah, it goes no huddle. And he's just going to... Oh, he's going to actually call play. Interesting. He's going to just chuck a... Oh, there's a wheel route. You get out of bounds. Very good. Able to get out of bounds there. He's thrown for 382 yards and 5 touchdowns in the first half. This is the state of Madden 26 offensively. This is the state. It's 38-35, and we would consider that a low-scoring first half for these two guys. Dang. All right, second half. Kind of crazy. Showtime starts out with an onside kick. Down 38-35. Going to just see what happens, I guess. And not going to recover it. Clef going to get the ball in great scoring position. We'll see if he continues to onside kick throughout this back end of the game here. But really odd decision there. Don't see that a lot. And there's a playmaker. And, I mean, this is just, you know, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat over and over and over and over again. Playmaker, playmaker, playmaker. Cover for hard flat, cover for hard flat. Not able to cover. Ends up going with that little quarterback scramble. That's going to be a touchdown for Clef. That's going to be 45-35. That's exactly what Clef wanted. You know, again, it couldn't have really worked out better for Clef there at the end. You know, getting that 3 before half, able to come out, immediately able to get a touchdown and, you know, 45-35, 2-possession lead in a game where, you know, honestly, Showtime in the half did good until he gave up that 3. That 3 was huge. Now it makes it a 2-possession game. Notice Clef kind of pinching this left side safety in. Again, I don't know. I think there's the match coverage on Y curl. There's the scramble, not able to get out of there, and that is worth watching again. This is a really, really big deal in this game right now. If you're able to do what Clef does right here, where he's able to get him not able to scramble out of that. Almost got out of it, but not able to. If you watch through this game through, you're seeing consistently, for the most part, Showtime's having to kind of beat Clef from the pocket, which is still very easy in this game. But there you see again another shed, another sack. Now you got a third and long. Even though a very offensive game, normally a third and long, able to be capitalized on. We'll see what Clef goes to. Going to just run stock, cover 4 quarters match here. And going to get an outside. And this might be brilliant. As you see here, he runs that stock cover 4 match. And then notice Showtime is going to do the small pass lead to the outside, but the match coverage plays it. Match might be all the way back. I don't know. But right there, it worked out great for Clef the God. He got his second stop. And now this is where you can really put your foot on somebody's neck. If he's able to get 7 here, really difficult to come back from this deficit. If he's able to truly get, 7 right here. He's got shoe clock on. Clef understands the gravity of the situation. He's going to be running the ball. You are playing 6-1, which is traditionally one of the better run defenses in the game. Going to go to inside zone here. Not able to get it done. Or he is able to get it done. Good cut there. And, Clef in a perfect world would not put the ball in the air one time and score a touchdown. Does have spacing switch called. Kind of an interesting variation of it. Going to go to Y flat goal line. Looking for some just quick dots. Throws a quick corner route up the field. And now you're in a scoring position. 2-yard line. And we should see quarterback power here. We should see, again, not want to be too risky here. You do want to ultimately score 7, though. And so you do want to do what it takes to score 7, but the quarterback power has been good enough for him so far. He's able to call that quarterback power. It's one of the reasons why so many people like Jets. Jets is so good in the red zone. It's very, very effective down in the red zone. You have a lot of different options. It has a lot of good 2 tight end sets that you can go to with quarterback runs. Quarterback runs in this game are one of the best ways to score in the red zone or short yardage situations. It's very difficult to shoot the gap in a quarterback run. Clef goes to it there, able to get the touchdown, putting him up 17 points. Very, very good for Clef. Very bad for Showtime. 1st and 10 from the 22. Showtime probably going to pass this. But you see there's the contain. He's getting that nice pressure pretty darn consistently, honestly. He's pretty darn consistently getting that B-gap pressure. And obviously, you would think, Showtime he's probably doing the protection he wants to do, right? So, good player. Not able to get the pressure there, not able to get the completion. Kind of ball went through his hands. Going to bring up a second down and 10. Moving this safety ever so slightly down. And Clef's pretty much committing to, you see again, right there. Very easily, Showtime could have potentially got out of this one. This was probably the best scramble attempt of the day. You see there's that pressure. See him juke out the blitzer, get upfield, but runs into his statue of a guard and not able to get it done. 3rd and 9. And I mean, you're seeing in an interesting way, right? Interesting way, Clef play amazing, amazing defense in this game, right? I mean, he's gotten 2 stops. Very difficult to do that in this game. Nice switch stick there. Nice KO there. So right here, this was the one play touchdown that Showtime has. It's verticals, and what you do is you have a crosser, you streak this guy. And so what you're going to get here is this guy has to guard him. You see Clef switch stick there, and then the throw goes on a free form or small pass lead. Remember, if this was cover 0, this would probably be a touchdown. But against match coverage, for whatever reason, it seems that they're able to play this a little bit better. And so this is, kind of showing that match coverage could be a potential option. I mean, he's running pretty much every play here. Puts his hooks on 10, and Showtime going to be able to pop a seam streak. This is why I feel so strongly that these guys have to be pinched inside there. I'm really curious. Maybe Clef feels like the match coverage plays better if they're not pinched. But I feel like if you're not playing match, you really give up a seam streak easily. It's just a layup throw. But here he moves him down. Good pressure. And take a look at what Clef gets here. So you see the walkover, and then you're going to get this pressure. See how this guy kind of glitches through the A-gap? This is the thing that happens in loop blitzes. He glitches him through the A-gap. It doesn't happen every time, but if it happens once or twice a game, right? You get him in a long yardage situation, 3rd and 21, not an easy convert. And Showtime going to go to 5 wide bunch. Actually going to do a little auto motion. And throws another interception. Now, this is where I talk about small pass lead gives and small pass lead takes. If you look at this, it's wide open. It's wide open right here. Wide open. Just throw this for first. I mean, it's wide open. For whatever reason, and again, I don't know why. It could be that Showtime made a mistake. It could be a fluke. It could be Cam Newton. I don't know why. He could have. I don't know what happened. All I know is the ball is significantly overthrown, and I know he's on small pass lead. And bada bing, bada boom, it's another pick. Bend but don't break. Contained defense works great for Clef. He ends up getting it done. He makes the $50,000, I believe $50,000. He's going to get a chance to play for, I think, I want to say it's $10,000, maybe $15,000 total. But great game from Clef. Showed off what I think very well could be the new way you want to be playing defense after the patch. More of a match, bend but don't break, cover 4 base defense, using that loop blitz not only just as pressure, but also as a way of containing. And then the big key factor is you got to have a good pass rusher on this left side. He has to be good. Honestly, you need all 3 of the pass rushers to be good. But Clef, one of the only people in the world in dollar, showed how good it could be. I want to thank you for watching this breakdown. And if you're looking to take your game to the next level, join our school community today to get the information you need to win more games.